talk a little bit about like your character. What was your role in the film and the other characters, and at what lens? Like Shedline was there doing research on the film, but obviously don't give the full film away because we want them to go see it in theaters.
Right.
But like that connection piece of like, what was that like for all you guys shooting this and the story that's actually being told?
I mean, I can't speak for the other actors per se, but I do believe that they had an amazing experience. I think everyone that signed up to be a part of this project, at the end of it, learned more about Haiti, learned more about, you know, voodoo, and that it's not a bad thing. You know, learn more about the president himself and some of the things, you know, that took place in Haiti or is taking place in Haiti as we speak.
Then a pause.
Ou pas recevoir l'argent tout?
Yon lot ajan te remplace.
Now, in reference to my character, obviously I play a bad.
Yeah, your character. Just from the trailer, it was like, oh, okay, like she's, yeah. What's up, Lean Sweet family, and welcome back. I am so excited to be sitting here today for a long overdue interview with one of my faves, the uber talented author, model, actress, and probably 30 other millions of hats that she wears in and outside of the Haitian community. I am here today to welcome Miss Tico Arand to Lean Sweet. How are you?
Thank you so much. Wow, what a welcome from the woman herself of Union Suite. Thank you, Wanda, for having me. Thank you, Union Suite. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here with you all. I'm actually very excited to be here, to be quite honest with you. The little girl in me is screaming. I think that it is imperative that we celebrate our own, so it feels good to be taking a seat here.
Yes, and it's crazy because I said, welcome to Lean Sweet. Welcome to the couch on Lean Sweet because we've literally been featuring you for years. Like, you were one of the first, like, talents.
Yes.
You know, that I like to say Lean Sweet discovered talent because, you know, I had to go online and find all y'all. So you were one of the people that at the beginning of Lean Sweet that I found your work and I found you online and I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
And then back then you were modeling, you were acting, and like you were in so many different facets of the community. And the last, like, I want to say 12 something years of just following your career, you've done so much more and you're continuing to grow. Yeah. And today, like, this is our first time sitting down doing an interview, but you're here today for such a big moment, like as if your career couldn't catapult anymore. You are on the big screens. You are in the theaters throughout the nation. You are one of the lead actresses for the first Haitian film to hit theaters ever. How does that feel?
Surreal. I think every time someone tagged me in something or I walk into a theater, I pinch myself because the little girl in me is like, we really did this. Yeah. Like, we really got here. And God make no mistakes. And I think that sometimes when we dream, we don't dream big enough. When we say we have the faith of a mustard seed, we really do not. Because I never prayed for a moment like this. But God saw it fit somehow, what he got planned out for me on this earth, to say, you know, you've been doing this for quite a while. So I'm going to take a shortcut with you. Because I believe July 7th, for us, with all that we went through, all of the struggles, all of the obstacles, all of the challenges, when everything was said and done, God was like, I'm taking a shortcut with you all and you're going straight to the top. And that's exactly what he did.
I love that. And if you're watching this interview and you're Haitian and you don't know what we're talking about, I'm already in shock. So what we're going to do is catch everybody up today if you're not aware what we're talking about. We're talking about July 7th, the movie. July 7th, Who Killed the President of Haiti?
Yes.
And before we get into July 7th, and we want all the behind the scenes, we want everything, Tico. You got to tell us everything about the behind the scenes. What was it like filming it? Where? You know, how you guys decided on, you know, the different actors that's involved and so on. But before I get into that, we always start with your growing up Haitian story. So before Magda from July 7th, How did you grow up? Where? You know, where your family from Haiti? What did you always aspire to be? We want to know the growing up Haitian Tico Arand story.
Ooh, wow. Okay, so I was born in Haiti. My family is from Jacqueline, but I know Port-au-Prince. I came here when I was 5 years old, the streets of Brooklyn, New York.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you always a South Floridian.
No.
Oh.
No. Brooklyn. But okay, so I never dreamed about becoming a model, and there's a backstory to that. I did not have the fairy tale life that people think that I lived or whatnot. Some of my childhood was very rough. I had to grow up quick, and so I don't think I had the self-esteem to believe that I could be a model. I had, mediocre self-esteem. I wasn't that girl and never felt that I was that girl. But I recall a friend of mine who wanted to pick up a camera because he wanted to become a photographer. And he didn't have any models, but he wanted to be a photographer. So I was his guinea pig. And I got in front of the camera, took a few pictures for him. And I recall him saying, you know what? The camera loves you.
Wow.
And that's how it all started. But I never envisioned to be a model, to, be a miss. It just was, I think deep down inside I probably did. But because of the things that I went through in life, I just didn't feel that I was pretty enough. I was deserving of that. And so, long and behold, I started to slowly get into it because it felt like an escape from this world, from the hardship and all of that. Because it's like once you're in front of the camera, you transform. You're in another world. You're someone else, and that helped me. And so that's why I stuck with modeling. And next thing you know, it took a life of its own.
But you didn't stop there.
Mm-hmm.
You went into acting,
Mm-hmm.
and then you transitioned into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So which one of these career fields did you growing up wanted to be in, or have you not ever tapped on what you wanted to be, or you didn't know? You've just been like, wherever life takes me, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be great at it.
So even as a little kid, I knew that the world of arts and entertainment was for me. Like I recall, being 3 years old and my father was already traveling, to the States. And from where we live, like you can see when the plane takes off in Haiti, and I would be literally in our corridor, like dancing side to side, and I'll be like, man, vieux papa te patia, many. And literally, like I would make a song out of everything. Modeling wasn't it, but I figured like, you know what? I have a voice because it was just always a part of me. I'll make a song about us right now. I was just that type of a kid. If I'm hungry, I'm making a song, whatever it is. And so I grew up in the church singing. Now, I wasn't the best singer, okay? But I wanted to sing for the Lord. And I was going to sing for the Lord. And, I got better at it. And I joined a singing group. The Haitian music industry always say that they want females, they want women. We don't have enough, but I don't necessarily think that they're ready for that or they truly want it.
So you were in a all women's female, you were in a all girls group?
Girl, this was worse than Destiny Child.
No. I'm like, wait a minute, is this some kind of exclusive? I did not know that. That's not written on the internet anywhere.
Oh, it is. Yeah, because I was on a show and they were able to pull up one of the videos. That's around the time that I was pregnant. But yeah, I was in a singing group with 5 girls, 5 women. Imagine, 5 women PMSing.
What, 5 Haitian women?
5 Haitian women.
Okay. What was the name? Give me the name.
Oh my God. Our name was Desire.
Desire? Haitian group, but y'all went Desire. What was it, in Creole and French, or just
no,
in English?
Creole. Straight compa.
Oh,
well, I mean the name was Desire. English,
but y'all were compa.
Yeah, we were compa.
Okay.
We considered ourselves to be like the modern day whiskey.
Okay, I love whiskey. Yeah,
so we just didn't play any instruments. Well, probably one person in the group played instruments, but the rest of us we didn't. But eventually I walked away from that after like 7 or 8 years.
That
being
was a
part
long
of the group.
time.
That's because the group really had talent. I just felt that the industry wasn't really trying to give us a chance. And two, I believe that we didn't realize how talented we were because we could have actually gone mainstream.
Yeah.
And so I felt like it was a waste of my time after a while, you know? And I was like, you know what? This modeling thing is not so bad. And as I said, I've always tried to look for a space where I feel safe or I feel comfortable or I can escape. And modeling became that for me. So I walked away from music.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that far.
Yeah. I even did background vocals for Emily Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to actually sing a little song, but you know. No, I love that because what I love that you just said is you've always looked for spaces to where you're comfortable and you feel safe, right? But at the same time, you've also taken chances in different areas, career fields that really they don't scream safe, especially for women, because and then you get into these male dominated industries and from everything I've ever known about you even to now, you've always been like very women empowering, very strong, very I'm coming into these spaces I know we may not be accepted and you're going to be loud, you're going to be forceful and you dominate, you know, in these spaces. So how do you find safety in these spaces where traditionally for women, they don't even set it up for us to feel safe?
So I think that whole demeanor of, you know, being an advocate for women comes from the fact that I was touched inappropriately as a child. And that's where the low self-esteem came about and not trusting people, not loving myself enough, like all of that, you know, it stemmed from that. And so for me, when I became self-aware and started my healing process, I realized very early that women don't necessarily have a safe space. I learned very early that as women, you don't go in asking, you don't go in begging, you go in demanding. You go in as if I deserve to be here. I have a space here, you know, and if you're not going to give me, I'm just going to take. And I think also with that attitude, with that demeanor, right, it has created my safe space because people already know this one, she's a badass, stay away, you know? Within the male dominated industry that we're in, it's a beautiful thing to see women flourish. Like someone like you, you've been doing this for quite a while. I mean, obviously people see us and they think, oh my God, they do it so well. It flows. I wish I had Wanda's life or I had Tico's life. They don't know the struggle in the back end. Yeah. They don't know the many nights of sacrifices, you know, name it, right? And yet we still stand. Yet we still show up. We show up when we're broken. We show up when we have nothing to give. We show up, you know, when we're afraid. We show up because that's what, as women, Haitian women, that's what we do. And I learned that very early on, and I've stuck to it, and I've stuck to God, because when I started this career, one of my prayers is, God, always keep my feet grounded so I don't forget who I am. I don't get lost in this fame or whatever you want to call it, and I remain humble. And I know that at any given moment, all of that can be taken away from me. And so I think that that's what has kept me, you know, for so long.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you for feeling safe enough to share it with us. And I want to tell you that I'm so grateful for what you've been to this community, for your voice and what you've been able to do for a lot of other women, and, you know, having something like that happen to you and taking it and using it to empower other women. So I thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm like, wait a minute.
But yeah.
No, but everything that you just said, and that's what I mean, because no one, I'm sure, would ever look at you and think there was a time when you had like any kind of self-esteem
Right.
issues, or think like you've not always been like the strong women, and they don't consider and think how much work it has taken and how you've taken like any obstacle that's ever happened in your life, and you've turned it into just not empowerment for yourself, because you make sure you're always empowering other women as well, and you take on these projects and you demand, you demand respect in these spaces, and it's so beautiful to watch, like you say, in the Haitian community. So I applaud you, for that. And it even now resonates more into why, if there was going to be anything historic in this community, like, you deserve to be in that space. Right? You deserve that. You work, to be there. And talking about risk and chances you taken. July 7th, who killed the president of Haiti? Now, I know, going in, you saw the script, you saw the title.
I was like, nah, ain't for me.
Because I'm like, what was it about? Because I know anyone from seeing that script right away, and even at the time frame of when you guys received the script, had to like take a step back, like, do I even want to touch this?
Yeah.
Right? But you did. So what was the thing that when you read the script, or what was it about the film where you were like, you knew going into this what it could be, but I'm going to do it anyways?
Well, first and foremost, I have to give a big shout out to my brother, Robinson Lovens. I think he's just an amazing human being. And when it comes to, I think, and also too, it's taken me, being in the industry for as long as I have, it's taken me quite a while to find like a family unit, to have that cushion. And I think that Clear Shot is that for me. So when I ride. So anything that Robbie would call me for, I won't question it. I'll jump in. However, when that project came, I did hesitate a bit, because something so fresh, a wound that is so very fresh, and you talking about politics, things that you don't discuss, politics, religion, certain things
The
you just
Asian
don't
community,
talk, especially, right?
And if you're gonna talk about it, you better be ready to talk about it. Yeah.
And so what made me change my mind is after reading the script, and when I heard the news, when it happened, there are a couple of things that went through my mind. First thing that came through my mind is, wow, these kids just lost their father. And I lost my dad at a young age. I mean, obviously they're young adults, right? But I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to not have that masculine energy around. I think it affected me for quite some time, growing up. And then my next thought was, wow, a wife just became a widow.
Yeah.
And then I thought, like, wait, did we just lose the leader of our nation? Like, right in our backyard? I was angry. I cried. There was a mixture of emotions, because at the end of the day, I wouldn't wish death on my worst enemy. You understand? I don't think anyone could do anything that bad for us to say, you need to die. So for me, there was a mixture of emotions. I'm not into politics. You understand what I'm saying? And I never met this man. But I knew that when that man got into power, for the first time, I saw a first lady that looked like my aunt. She looked like my mother. Her skin was as dark as mine because the sun loved her so much it kissed her everywhere. And it made me feel proud. The same way it made me feel proud when Obama got into power. I looked at Michelle and I'm like, yes, you're one of me. I can see, me in you and you in me. It was a reflection. And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, I want to do this. I want to take the chance. I think that, it's unfortunate. This is how we have to start our story. But this is a story that needs to be told. And most importantly, it needs to be told. We need to do it because we need to let them know that, hey, this investigation, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
It's still an ongoing investigation, but we have yet to hear anything.
Yeah.
This wasn't just an ordinary person, whether you like them or not. This was the president of a country, of the first free Black nation. What's going on? And so I was like, all right, well, if there's anyone that I'm going to take the risk with, if our life is going to be on the line, let's do it. So that's how I jumped on the project.
And you play Magda. So like I want to make sure I explain this for July 7th, because a lot of people have thought that it's a documentary. Some people think like it's like a behind the scenes, film about exactly what happened the week of and so on. So again, like we just said, the film is directed by Robinson LaVince, and it's not a documentary. It's a fictional film. Inspired by. So I want to make sure we clear that. And the film pretty much, it delves into the events following the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse, and it's seen through the eyes of a student, Shedline, who is played by Raquel Pellissier, and she's a college student who's doing research, and she plunged into the web of the political intrigue and danger of who killed the president.
Yes.
So it's based on a lot of like fictional, there's a lot of fiction behind it, because a college student is trying to figure out what happens to the president.
Right.
But I want to have you explain that to a lot of people, because that's a lot of the conversation of why a lot of people are saying, what is the point of this film if it's not fact-based and they haven't figured out, who killed the president? What was the purpose?
So I think that there comes a transformative moment in someone's life, people's lives, or nation's lives, where you no longer want to hear your story or see your story told through foreigners.
Yeah.
You want to tell your story. You want to be that powerful voice, whether it has cracks in it, whether it's weak, whatever. Like, you want to be the author of that book, of that storytelling. You want to be the one with the penmanship. And for far too long, we've allowed others to tell our story. No one can tell Wanda's story the way Wanda tells her story.
Yeah.
No one can be a PR for Union Suite better than you, because you know the ins and outs. You know the struggles. You know what it took to get here. And I think that we need to understand that's the same thing when it comes to Haiti. For a very long time, we've allowed others to still tell our story. If you can recall, I remember a trip we took to Haiti for missionary work.
Trip, yep.
Yep, and Channel 7 was coming. I'm like, darn it,
Yeah.
here they come. About to tell the story through their lens, so they can this, so they can that. And I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, why do we need foreigners? Let this be our trip. Let's go do what we need to do for us, because it's going to take us to save us.
Yeah. Because it's a different view too of what's going on. Like,
Yes.
even when you talk about the mission trip, while there was a lot of news reporters that were there that was capturing bits and pieces of what's going on, we didn't go in and we ran out. We were on the ground. We were with the families. We got to see the kids. We were able to feed. We were, and then we were also emotionally attached or emotionally connected to what was going on. So what we do and how we share the stories and the respect we have for the families and the communities that we're in is going to be different, because we see ourselves in these people. We saw ourselves in the kids. It could have been us. Like, we're in this, we're here. It was after the hurricane,
Yes.
the flooding and the hurricane.
flooding,
And for us, we were like, this could have been me. This could be me and my mom. So I very much understand that when you say, like, sometimes when we talk about telling the story from our lens, we're not just really talking about it has to only be Haitians,
Right.
but there's a way that we are able to tell stories because of how it's connected to us that a lot of other people may not, understand or even do.
Exactly. And I feel that, I don't blame them, because obviously, they don't know our struggles. So there is a lack of sympathy or empathy.
Yeah.
There's a lack of connection, because obviously we don't have the same history.
Yeah.
Right. But with that trip, what I realized was I was part of the problem. And the reason why I realized that I was part of the problem is because I do have a platform. I can tell our stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's not on as a big of a platform as theirs. It's not on an international platform, but I still do have a voice.
Yeah.
So why do I allow foreigners to mute me when they're telling my story? Why do I believe their stories more than I believe my own story? That's a problem for us.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into writing children's books. And that's why I feel this story, July 7th, must be told. because no one's going to tell it the way that we tell it. No one's going to show the beauty of who we are the way we show it. Même si c'est kwabo sal n'a monté, mais wapwe gon pote na kwabo sal la the way we shoot it.
Yeah.
Through our lens.
That's what I wanted you to touch on, like even for people, like since you're part of the film, like talk a little bit about like your character. What was your role in the film and the other characters, and at what lens? Like Shedline was there doing research on the film, but obviously don't give the full film away because we want them to go see it in theaters.
Right.
But like that connection piece of like, what was that like for all you guys shooting this and the story that's actually being told?
I mean, I can't speak for the other actors per se, but I do believe that they had an amazing experience. I think everyone that signed up to be a part of this project, at the end of it, learned more about Haiti, learned more about, you know, voodoo, and that it's not a bad thing. You know, learn more about the president himself and some of the things, you know, that took place in Haiti or is taking place in Haiti as we speak. Now, in reference to my character, obviously I play a bad.
Yeah, your character. Just from the trailer, it was like, oh, okay, like she's, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I play one of the president's gendarmes, you know. I go in there
The Haitian American yo qui sa gendarme yo.
I'm a sergeant. I'm a sergeant, okay? I got my boots on the ground and I'm working. I'm doing what I need to do, especially as a woman, you know? But I think my character is a pretty interesting character. One that you don't necessarily see in Haitian women that live in Haiti. Okay, I take that back. Parce que lo ap gade Haiti, I will say the backbone of Haiti, c'est machin yok nan la ria. And they may look frail, they may look like yo pa kampe sou anyen, but they're really the strength of that country. And even down to us being entrepreneurs, I'm like, yo, my people been doing this.
Been embedded.
You understand what I'm saying? That's why I told my mom when I was firing my boss, I'm like, yo, this is in my blood.
Yeah.
You know? But I think that the role that I played really, I was able to connect with it on so many levels through my personal experiences, through what the character brings to the screen. And becoming Magda did not take much on my end for me to just forget about Tico and become Magda.
Yeah. And you, like, I want to make it clear on this part because when we released the trailer, when we first released the trailer months ago, you were all preparing for the premiere in Miami.
Yes.
And then people under the impression that it was going to go on tour in different cities. Obviously, the way most Haitian films do it. You do a premiere in Miami, you do it in Boston, and then a couple of weeks later, you all come on and you go, boom, boom, boom. We're in theaters.
Yeah.
For the people that understand it, it was like, oh my gosh, this is historic. Haitian film in theaters. For the people that didn't understand it, it was like, okay, that's cool, but kila bay la vini Boston, kila film la vini Atlanta. And I think that's been a disconnect because I was talking to Robinson about it the other day. I'm like, there's a big disconnect about what it means for a Haitian film to be in theaters and what does that mean for y'all. And I want you to explain that so people understand. It's like, no, this film is not on tour. You know, it is in theaters the same way Sinners is in theaters, like the same AMC theaters. So tell us, one, what was that like when you guys heard that you were going into distribution? And explain about when your key sign up in distribution so they know it's not over. This is still in theaters right now.
Yes. So to be quite honest with you, I don't think any of us imagined we would go from our premiere in Miami, Florida, which shut down downtown, by the way.
Yes, y'all did.
Yes, straight to the box office.
Yeah.
Parce que nous-mêmes, plan nous c'était faire un premiere Miami, et puis see how we can get into Netflix. You understand? Because
I saw all us Haitians got the Netflix dream.
I mean, the reality of it is we've already done Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
You know, we don't care for Tubi and whatever the other.
I just said, no, but hey, no care.
Okay.
I just said somebody Tubi gonna be, oh, the Haitians don't want to be on Tubi.
No, Tico don't want to be in Tubi. Tico, not the Haitians. So for me, it was like, no, we don't want to be in Amazon Prime. We want to be on Netflix.
Yeah.
Even in shooting the movie, that was the mindset.
Yeah.
We never thought box office. So when we did the premiere, we had a few distribution companies, well, people that were there to just see if we have a market. Because the reality of it is nobody.
You know what's,
There's no numbers.
You know what's tough? The fact that every single thing we do all these years later, that's always the conversation in every room I walk in. Even though we pull in big numbers and everything, they always say, is there a market?
Yep. Is there a market? Is there an audience? And it's because, though, your Netflix account is probably being used by your little cousin right now.
Yeah, I'm actually no, this month.
You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, they don't see that there's a market. And with our movie being an international movie, meaning it was shot in Haiti and parts of Dominican Republic, we're considered an international movie. So Netflix USA is not looking at us. They're like,
And
all right, go
Creole.
check out Netflix Africa or something like that. But this film was not shot in the USA, you know.
And it's
And
fully
then you don't have
Creole,
numbers.
right? It's all Creole.
Well, but there's
Most-
subtitles,
Yeah.
right? So it's
But you
like,
know, for them, subtitles, you just not the Creole like you do. Okay.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like y'all have no market. Like, what we're about to do with this? So, after our premiere, which by the way, tickets were like $200 if you're VIP, $100 if you're, and all of these people showed up, and they're like, "Yo, maybe these people do have a market." And so, the director, one of the things I love with him is, it's like once he sees an opportunity or he realized what he has in his hand, he's taking it all the way. Sometimes we'd be like, okay, dude, you crazy. But this was good crazy, right? When we got this distribution deal, I still said to him, I think we're no boss la. You know, and the reality of it is, unfortunately, Haitian cinema, we have nothing in Haiti as we speak. We don't know, most of us don't know what box office is unless you were born here.
Yeah.
And even if you were born here, if you're not into those things, you don't necessarily know what that means, right? Box office means the box office where you go and you say, okay, I need 2 tickets for Sinners.
It is available
You
to
understand? It is in
everybody.
everybody in
You know,
every
AMC,
state.
it's in anywhere there's movie theater.
Anywhere there's a movie theater, you just tap in your zip code to see, you know, where it is showing. And I think because we've never done this before, for us it's like, okay, great, but when?
Yeah.
When is my city's turn?
Yeah.
Because obviously some other movies, that's how it's been for them. But by God's grace, he literally took us, you know, straight to the top. And so, m'ta reme moun kompran ke movie a nan tout state. Right now, as we speak, so last week out of 69 movies, we ranked in at 17.
Wow.
Out of 69 movies.
And just so
we
you
came in at
know,
17.
so the film premiered in box office May 16th. So we're
Yes.
talking 2 days before Haitian Flag Day.
Busy
So
weekend.
on how many days you'd say to where you're able to get the number that we were so high up?
So every week, the cinemas, AMC, like they do the numbers to find out if you get dropped or if you stay.
Okay.
And I know that specifically for Miami and a few others, it's on Wednesday.
Okay.
Like, so you got to check to see Fimu Wala, and then that's when the numbers will come out too. So we were waiting on numbers. To be quite honest with you, we were all under the suspense parce que we came out on a weekend that we felt was the best weekend, but also probably was the worst weekend.
Busy weekend.
There's so many
There's
things
festival,
to do.
there's parties, there's ball. Miami te feme, we shit on traffic.
Come on.
We get festival, we get fete, we get Haitian Flag Day. Joey that file la. It's like, oh my goodness, there's so much going on.
You're not thinking about going to the movies. And when you could have gone to the theater, you're tired.
Yeah.
You want to get some rest.
Yeah.
So the fact that we ranked 17 out of
Nice.
69
That's
movies is
amazing.
great.
Yeah.
And moi vle di peuple la merci. Because I think that there's something that, I think when our authentic stories are told, collectively, our voices will thunder que union fait la force.
Yeah.
And that's what we just showed for the first week of July 7th. Imagine, with everything else that was taking place, we still ranked.
Yeah.
We're still at the movie theater at the AMC for another week.
Yeah.
So that means that every week we need to continuously show up so we can, again, be there for the following week.
Yeah.
And with every week, I believe you are eligible for, certain award shows.
Yeah.
I think day 7 is, because next thing you know, people are like, no, it's not this, not that.
Yeah.
But with every amount of days that you are in the cinema, you are in the AMC, you're eligible, for the big award shows.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going for. I think that comme un peuple, and I always use Haiti right now. I see Haiti as a tree, and it's in its winter season. It's frail, barely no leaves, everything that you can think of. It's in its winter season. However, no one knows what's happening with the roots of that tree. The roots of that tree is a Union Sweet that is blooming right here in the States. The roots of that tree is a July 7 that is blooming here in the States. The roots of that frail, fragile tree is the diaspora. It's the change makers. It's the movers and shakers. It's the creators. It's the dreamers. And so therefore that tree can never die. Un jour, on s'en va après, boom. Because I refuse to lose hope in Haiti when there's people like you. When there's people like me.
Exactly.
When there's people like Gael. When there's people like, Carve.
Yeah.
I refuse to lose hope. When there's a director like Robinson Lovens, a Smitty. I can't. It's impossible to lose hope. If I lose hope in Haiti, then that means that I lose hope in myself. And
that ain't happening.
That ain't happening. No time soon.
No, I love that so much because I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, there's so much going on in the country right now. Every time we wake up, we're flooded with bad news. And it's so hard, to even stay positive. And then on the other end, you see what's going on in diaspora, internationally, it's not just, in the U.S., Haitian Americans are flourishing and Haitians are flourishing in music. And look, right now we're in the box office. There's so many amazing things that we have going on. Mm-hmm. And then we have to sit back and go, we don't even know what to do, with our country. And a film like July 7 being in theaters, I think also continues to remind people that, yes, while there are the festivals and these amazing things that we're doing, this is still happening in our country and we still care. And we want to make sure we're showing people what's happened in our country and that we do want to be part of the change. But even in a situation like this where something so terrible happened to our president, we still, don't even have answers. And I want to say that to even ask you, you're in the film, you guys put this film together. And since you're here, represent July 7, definitely, if you want to give the other characters, the shout out the roles and different things that, the different roles that they played in the film, what do you all feel like the response have been from the community with this film, with even the fact that, yes, we still don't know what happened to our president, but we have the film now and it's available to such a wider market?
I think that first we need to applaud ourselves for once taking the chance to tell our own stories, regardless of how we will be seen, how we will be viewed, how we will be judged. Because I think that sometimes when you have a shortcoming, it's best if you make fun of it first before anyone does. Because once you make fun of it, people can't use it against you anymore. I've already shown you, what we're like, our lifestyle, how we live, and so on and so forth. You can't use that against me anymore. Try something different. Try something else. I think that when it comes to us, we need to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And the uncomfortable is our story right now. But remember your story back then. Remember who you are. That is why even in the state that Haiti is in right now, I'll never be afraid to say I'm Haitian. I'll always be proud to say that I am Haitian because I know what we have done for this world. And I know that in some instances, the reason why we're in the state that we're in right now is because they will choose to make an example out of us because of the fact that we are the original freedom fighters. We are those rebellious slaves that said, a Sanit Belair at the age of 20 or whatever, saying death or liberty. Do you understand what that means? Do you understand the blood that runs through your veins? Do you understand that you helped set this world free? Once you have an understanding of that, you will understand why their foot is always on our neck. You will understand why not all help is good help. You understand what I'm saying? You will understand that we can save ourselves and we will save ourselves. It's just taken us a little longer to come around because our ancestors left one assignment and one assignment only for us, and that's union fait la force. And you realize every time we come together, we make noise. Every time we come together, change take place. Every time we come together, mountain moves. Every time we come together, faith reactivates. every time we come together, God shows his face. Parce que nous sommes peuple, and I hate to use the word resilience because then it does not allow us the time to heal. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done. But and of course, our country right now is upside down. However, I cannot ignore the fact that there are people out here, Haitian Americans, the diaspora, that's working. You know, that's planting the seed. You may not see the tree now. Guess what? The roots are forming, are taking formation, are doing what they need to do before that tree can grow. And so I want to give a big shout out to Bilio, because if I start talking, I'll start to talk too long. Bilio, who Evans, shout out to you. We had an amazing time on set. I think we did a badass job together. Shout out to the professor, Professor Eden. You know, he's such a great storyteller in the movie. Shout out to Shidlin for her first acting role. I think she did a phenomenal job. Shout out to our youngest actor on set, B. Gamel. Oh my!
Yeah, I heard everybody leave the film. He's become the star.
He's the star of the movie. He honestly and truly is. He is the star of the movie for his first acting gig, being so young and yet effortlessly just played his role like he was born to do it. Blows me away. Shout out to, everyone that was a part of it. Shout out to Wesby and Regine, who is the backbone of this project. When I tell you, we have some phenomenal talents within our industry. And I think with July 7, with this being historic, not just for Haiti, but for the Caribbean.
Yeah,
Caribbean cinema, you know, is extraordinary and should be celebrated. It should be celebrated by every Black person. If you know history, even though you're not Haitian, you should be like, you know what? I need to walk into one of those theaters and I need to say sac passe, not boule, because Haitian dit dans le blanc, Haiti put us on the map, put all of us on the map. And there's no Black history without Haitian history.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tico. Thank you so much for being here. It is premiere week for you. We're still in premiere week, you know, for July 7. I know you're busy. You guys have been everywhere. You're all over the internet. Thank you so much for taking time, you know, to talk to us today. Congratulations again and again and again. We wish you the best of luck. Robinson, the whole team, we wish you guys like absolute luck. Thank you for allowing Leon Sweet to be part of this project, to be an additional voice and telling, you know, your stories. And thank you, sis. Thank you so much for what you do for the culture and for Haitian women in the culture.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. If you have not yet watched July 7, please go out there and watch. And if you have already watched July 7, still go out and watch. I was in New York and I purchased tickets for, you know, Miami, because I think that this opens the door for every other creative, for every other storyteller, every other director. You know, now we can go sit at a table with Netflix and say, hey, this is a project that I have, here's the pilot. And they're gonna take a look at it. You know why? Because we've already set the foundational, you know, groundwork of our industry, of our market. And they're gonna see that the numbers are there. So m'ap stipulye nou. Pa fè sa pou mwen, pa fè sa pou Robinson, but fè sa pou nation, fè sa pou people. Montre yo ke when our stories are told in its authentic manner, we will not just show up, but we will show up loud and we will show up proud.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tico. Thank you for everyone, like I said, that's been part of the project. So again, Leon Sweet family, for clarity, the film is in box office. We're only in week 1. This is opening week. In order to find out where July 7, Who Killed the President of Haiti, is playing, just go on the internet in your location in the movie theaters, type in the name of the movie, and it will show you the different locations. It's not specific cities. Whatever city you are in the U.S., just type it in, show up, show out, and don't forget to send us all your feedback, your photos, your videos of everything when you go see the film. We'd love to hear from every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.